Cougs, the summer is now officially over for you and the staff. Now it's time to get to work and get ready for a football season.
Yeah, it's time. We're going to have a staff function tomorrow night, and then Sunday we kick it off. We have administrative meetings in the morning with football meetings in the evening, and then Monday and Tuesday, because of summer school conflicts, we're going to do our first 2 shorts practices here at the Sun Bowl, and then we're going to pack up and head on down to Alpine.
I mentioned before I brought you on the air that with everything happening around baseball season, both locally with the Chihuahuas and Major League Baseball, and finishing up the NBA a few weeks back, and then a few months back, I should say, and then also the World Cup. There's just been really people putting attention on football about a week ago when NFL training camp started. So I wanted to really get you guys on today because it's here, and I don't know if people in El Paso are really preparing themselves yet for football season because it's right around the corner.
It comes up on you sudden. We play 4 weeks from tomorrow night, and it goes fast, but we've got a lot of work to do down at training camp. We're excited about it. I'm excited to see the progress this team has made. I applaud the work that they've put in this spring. And there's going to be some really good competition at a lot of positions, and I really feel that's the only way for us to get better is be competitive with each other.
Have you noticed just from this year to your first year, that there's been, as far as the players go, just work ethic, commitment? Have you seen just a lot of differences between both campaigns?
It's been night and day. I can't even describe the difference. One thing, we kept our entire staff together. I think that was one critical thing that we had to do. There was only 3 staffs in the entire country that kept their entire staff intact. So we're very fortunate there that these players are going to have the same exact systems so they can learn it better, become experts at their positions. And the other thing is the players that are here, it's been well documented that we got rid of players, but we've moved on from that. But the guys that are here are working hard. They bought into what we're doing from an energy standpoint, from a physical standpoint. I can't even describe the difference. It's been very pleasant to coach this year. I
played the Conference USA Media Day interview with you and both seniors on the show about a week ago when you guys were in Dallas for that. And one of the things that they talked about and you commented on is just that you're bigger up front. You're bigger up front on both lines, and it's obviously something you're a big believer in when it comes to trying to move the football and stop the ball on defense.
Yeah, we want to be a gap scheme run team, and, we run the power and counter plays and require our linemen to pull a lot, and there's a big difference between a 270-pound guard that pulls and makes contact with a lineman as opposed to a 320-pound guard that pulls and hits a linebacker. We want to be more physical. We want to be bigger up front. We're not quite there yet where we want to be standard-wise, but we're getting there. We signed 12 linemen this year, and just even looking at the freshmen that we brought in. Now, I don't expect many of those guys, if any of them, to play, but you look across the board, every offensive lineman that we signed, there's 4 of them. They're all over 300 pounds. They're all over 6'4". Every defensive lineman that we signed is 6'4" or above, and they're in the body frame type of 250, 240, 260, kids that are going to grow into 280-pounders. And that's what we got to do. We got to develop these guys while they're here. I really don't think you can function and get away with playing 5'11", 6-foot defensive linemen because they get engulfed. So we've got to upgrade our size, and we tried to be creative in doing that. Going back east, getting some players that fit that size mold, and it's going to be a continual process. It's something that's never going to be an afterthought here at UTEP, and that's signing off offensive and defensive linemen. It's the mainstay of our program.
Well, that's what I would expect. I really would. And as far as your approach to coaching now, are you going to make a lot of differences in the way you're involving yourself with day-to-day compared to a year ago?
Well, the first thing is from a whole staff standpoint, we're not going to be naive. There's things that we didn't do well as a team, and we're not going to just be bullheaded and just say we're going to do the exact same thing and expect different results. We have changed some things. We really studied hard during the off season. Number one, we studied ourselves and our own personnel. We made some moves. We studied other teams. We studied our conference to try to get more familiar with them. And the moves that we made, we really feel are going to be beneficial to our team schematically. And but then also to have your main core values in place and not change those one bit. And the discipline aspect of this program, I think the players now realize that is never going to change, and they don't fight it anymore. They understand it and they work with it. And the off-field progress that we've made, we had 42 players with a 3.0. We had our highest APR and GPA in school history. I really feel you got to act like winners off the field before you can be a winner on the field, and our players really are starting to understand that.
Coach Kugler with us here from UTEP on our Village Inn Hotline as we get started on this Friday afternoon. I read the expectations from Coach Strong at Texas, and when he arrived, what he wanted done as far as the athletes go. And you go down this list and you see no headphones in class, no texting in class, sit up and take notes. If a player misses a class, he runs until it hurts. If he misses 2 classes, his entire position unit runs. If he misses 3, the position coach runs. And you go down the list and you say to yourself, okay, you know what? If he's going to hold by those rules, it's definitely going to probably change the way guys are used to dealing with things. Now, I don't necessarily know if your rules are similar to that of Coach Strong at Texas, but I do know that when you come in and you demand things from your team that necessarily haven't had prior to your arrival, it probably does take at least a year for them to understand everything you want in and out or off the field, I should say.
There's no doubt, and I got a lot of respect for Charlie Strong because he has a mentality and a culture that he wants to have at his program, and he's determined to do that, and he's not going to waver. It's the same here. Many of the things that you just read off, we strongly believe in. We don't allow our players to miss class. We don't allow them to be late for class. We have mandatory tutoring. We have mandatory study hall for our players. We have mandatory mentor meetings for players late for weights, training room, treatment, anything, or any off-field behavior issues that we have, they're held accountable, and it doesn't change, and it's not different from one player to another. The last walk-on the team is treated the same as the star player, and you can ask some of our guys that are star players, they don't get treated any differently than the other ones. I think that's key for consistency and discipline. The only one that we probably wouldn't adhere to, I would probably have a tough time making myself or any of the assistant coaches running if their players got in trouble. They'd probably have a mutiny on my hands from the coaches.
I understand that. Now, you mentioned the season starts in 4 weeks. It's pretty crazy to think that 4 weeks from tomorrow in Albuquerque, you're playing New Mexico, and yep, you're getting things going before Texas Tech and New Mexico State here. So we are right around the corner. I talked about this team, and I talked about everything that you have coming back, and knowing that in a best-case scenario, let's assume everybody stays healthy. That's the first and foremost. And you get a couple of balls breaking in your advantage. There is no reason why, Coach, this team cannot win 7 or more games and find yourself back in the postseason playing in a bowl.
Yeah, and that's our goal. We want to be a winning team. We want El Paso to have a winning team. We want to reward the players and the fans with the bowl bid. We really feel we're getting closer to that step, and you do need some, chemistry. You need things to go your way, but in my mind, you make things go your way. You don't, sit there and hopefully have some luck. I think that you make your own luck. I feel good about this team in many areas. I think we got great quarterback leadership. I think we've got a very deep and talented backfield. I think we have more experience in our secondary and some talent there, and I think we're going to have great competition at our linebacker position. We're very inexperienced at the defensive line and the wide receiver position, but I like the talent that's there, and I do, acknowledge the fact that we're not quite where we need to be on the offensive and defensive lines yet from a size standpoint, but we're not just going to sit around and wait for that day. We're going to get after it.
So you see enough right now to tell you that if guys develop and grow into these positions, that there's no reason why this team can't exceed expectations and have a really nice year in Conference USA.
There's no doubt, and it comes down to our attitude. Again, the players playing with energy, enjoying the game, and having fun. Last year there was not one fun part about that season for the players or the coaches, and change is difficult. Some guys can't handle that. But these guys know what's expected of them now. They know the system better. So now in my mind, as I saw it in the spring, I see these guys just playing football and not thinking and not worrying about the consequences or those type things. And that's when your team starts coming together. But any team that's going to be successful has to have strong leadership. And really, for the first time since I've been here, I feel good about the leaders that are going to be leading this team. And to me, that's the most important thing.
One of the things I also like is that when you look at the two deep, you see a lot of El Paso kids on the two deep, and I know that's been a focus, not just asking for walk-ons, but giving out scholarships as well. You probably might have caught the story Asher did on his way out Wednesday, where he had to sit down with Elmendorf, the Jones brothers, Ryan Metz, and talked about just the importance of staying here and really playing in front of your family as part of minors. And I think that it's a great way to just convey the message that there's no reason why the best El Paso talent can't develop as UTEP players.
Absolutely. I know how much pride El Paso takes in their football team, and, I would be crazy as a head coach if I didn't focus on El Paso recruiting. I think there's excellent football players here. We'll probably have more El Paso players on our roster, maybe that's ever been on the UTEP roster, and that's not going to change. It's a blue-collar mentality in this town. It's a blue-collar town. And the kids that you get, they're going to work. They enjoy playing football. And we've always had our greatest success when we have El Paso players that are contributing. I look back to the 88 team. We had several players from El Paso that were starting and contributing. And then the 2000 team, some of our best players, when you start talking about Paul Smith and Brian Young, those are local products. We got to focus in on the top players in town. Will we get them all? Be unrealistic to say yes, but we're going to try to do it every year. And up until this point, we really feel like we've done that.
Last question, that is Camp Alpine. You moved to that area on Wednesday. Fans have a chance to go out there, watch you play. If you haven't been to Alpine, Texas, besides getting a chance to get your fill of UTEP, it's nice to just get away for a few days, isn't it? And really see a part of Texas that is a little different than what you might expect to find around here in El Paso.
I think it's beautiful out there. It's probably about 10 degrees cooler. It's a little higher altitude, so we get plenty of conditioning work. But the scenery, around the practice field and the university, it's a very small university, but it's beautiful. We get our players housed there in the dorms. There's no distractions. We can just focus in on football. And our practices and training camp are open to the public. We would love for any of the minor fans to come down and enjoy a weekend. We do practice early in the morning. We practice at 8:45 in the morning. And we'll hold two scrimmages down there, one on Saturday the 9th and one on Friday the 15th. And the fans are welcome to come down. I know the players always get energized when there's minor fans nearby.
All right, folks, it starts up early next week with a UTEP football camp in Alpine. By the way, a nice brown suit we saw you sporting last week on that media day.
Yeah, it's like putting a ribbon on a hog.
Will we see it again during the season for any of the media press conferences?
Probably next time you see me in a suit, probably be my funeral.
Oh, gosh. Let's.
No, I'm kidding. My wife went out and bought 2 suits, and she's encouraged me to wear them. And I got to be honest, I'm about as uncomfortable in a suit as you can get. But I promise if we do go to a bowl game, I'll be the first one wearing a suit to a press conference.
Good. Look forward to that. In the meantime, take care of yourself, and we'll spend plenty of time talking UTEP football with you.